Hello there. So it's been just a day, but I got into the mood to stream again, so I'm gonna do that. Um, Yesterday the stream was cut off because OBS crashed on me. I have no idea why, but hopefully that won't happen again. I also found some cool music that I should be able to use, so hooray. And I'm just gonna get back to it. Just gotta plug in my tablet. So yeah, again I'm just gonna narrate whatever I'm doing. So I think today I want to finish Olamar here on the right. Give him some color, some more movement and oomph, and hopefully get to the fan panels here. So if anyone watches this and is wondering what this is, it's a comic I'm making. I've been making for a long time, on and off. The link is in the description if you want to check it out. And if you want to maybe pick up some, tips or just watch someone work on digital art, hopefully you pick up something. I'm just gonna go through my process here. So yeah, the poses are done and I'm gonna get to coloring. I always like finish every element of the panel to some kind of standard, and then I go in and kind of finish it up, make some changes here and there. I don't think there's gonna be much else to do after I finish this character here. So let's go. I have to remind myself again of how this character actually looks. This is another thing that I would have done differently if I were to start now, because the design is kind of cluttered. It's not too complex, but I think I would do it differently now. I'm just gonna pick this green. For the pauldrons, it's supposed to be made of of bronze. The whole city this character is the king of is kind of built from bronze, and maybe even just copper, but there's this patina on everything, like the Statue of Liberty or something. You get this nice greenish color. I'm gonna get the skin tone here, the shadow part. Yeah, so he has shorts that come above his knees. I actually have the concept art I did. Let's look at it, because I think that's that's easier. The whole character is visible there. you can see many abandoned kind of images projects in here. Lots of Blender files for the city. I can actually show that. Yeah, I did some like shots of the city that I tried to kind of. I wanted to make a cool illustration out of it, but you know, if I start with 3D, it's not usually that good because I'm not really thinking in terms of light and composition when I build stuff in 3D. It's a skill I kind of need to learn still. So yeah, but I have this like reference. So this is like the whole city. There are terraces everywhere, and these fields around. That's the place where the comic, the duel, is taking place. Yeah, the concept art is here. So yeah, I actually forgot that his hair is supposed to be like slicked back on one side. Also, another mistake I made yesterday, as I was going through the old panels, I thought that Olamar was left-handed, but in the beginning he throws his spear with his right hand, so I think I'm just gonna go with his ambidextrous. You know, he has both a spear and an axe. So yeah, that was intended for sure. Yeah, so he has shorts, black shorts, black cloak, sandals, and this white kind of undershirt with a V-shaped whatever you call this. It shows skin, right? And there's this pattern on the underskirt, undershirt, whatever you call it. That is one of the things I would just get rid of. Yeah, it's too busy design-wise. Yeah, and a belt that has a large kind of copper or bronze plate on it. Yeah, and I'm not sure if even in the comic he has those like linen straps on both arms, so I'm gonna check that. Yeah, he has them on both arms. Yeah. Okay, here's the sandals. Not sure if they will be very comfortable, but it is what it is. So yeah, his hair is kind of on the warmer side of dark hair, so there's a bit of warmness to it. And the cloak as well, but in this shade it should be more cool. Because the light, the cool light is coming from above, and then the warm light is coming from the sunset. So I like to kind of alternate the temperature of colors from shadow to light. So in this situation he's primarily in the shadow, so the lighter parts are gonna be colder because of the light from above, and then the shadows I'm gonna keep a bit warmer. Then there's the fact that his surroundings are lit, so some warm light is gonna get reflected on him. So I'm gonna do something like this, illuminate it from below. Yeah, I don't want to overdo it. Like I'd rather have clear areas of color, light and shadow. Like that's more important than being true to like a set color from the concept or a shape, you know, keeping everything perfect. I think that's not important. The important thing is that it looks okay. Like no one's gonna pay attention to something if it looks kind of passable, right? As long as it looks believable and cool, then it's okay. So like I'm not gonna count these scales on the pauldrons. That would be madness. And yeah, I used to do that. But I realized that there's no point to that. It's just not important. Better things to spend time on. I'm gonna put a bit of the warm sunset light on like the top. If I look at the last panels here, the rim light is, yeah, it's pretty warm. I'm gonna borrow this color. And again, I'm not looking at any references for this, which would be ideal, you know. I can't be bothered really right now. I'm gonna save that for like those more important shots, like this one. The villain is kind of standing there in his full glory, so I wanna get the little details right. Like this arm, I think I'm gonna have to find a reference for that to get like the musculature, especially with his design. He has these growths everywhere that should follow the direction of the muscles and everything. So the design has changed from this initial one. He does look a bit different in the comic, and again, I think that's okay, as long as it's not too different. So yeah, this pop of color kinda also serves as something to guide the eyes of the viewer. So I'm gonna kinda exaggerate it. And I'm gonna borrow this color to kind of blend shadow with the rock. Yeah, I think that's fine. Maybe just a bit more of the cold light on the upper part here. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. And some line here. Yeah, I think the skin should be a bit deeper, more saturated. Yeah, I think it's okay. So the second panel here, I'm just gonna pick those same colors. He's now standing up, so he's gonna be lit more, but you know, for the base color here, and again, I kind of hate that I'm working on such a small resolution here, such a small scale. I just really dislike kind of working with pixels if I'm not actually doing pixel art, because especially when the brushes are textured, it's just really annoying. But the main elements first, right? So I know he has like big pauldrons, right? This big plate on his belt. The bare skin. And then the lighter undershirt. Yeah, I don't think I'm even gonna like do any detail on the face, except for maybe again this streak of color he has, like paint, and yeah, and then he has like a beard on his chin. And then just the general shape. Maybe the eyebrows too. Because he should have like prominent eyebrows. And I think that's like okay. Same with Ahraz here. He just, you know, the shape of the head, the ears, and the glow of his eyes. just like enough, because it's gonna be viewed in this at this scale. Yeah. No, it's looks weird because he does look like he's all in shadow. But I'm gonna introduce light just in a bit. Yeah. So again, I'm gonna borrow the tones that I have here. Trying to think about the form of everything, which part of the arm is facing the sunset, which part of the face. And the axe is made from bronze too. The axe has like this shape to it. Yeah, there's like this cross of straps, or wraps rather. And there's also one on the handle. And a spike opposite the handle. And then some of the warm light in his hair indicate the ear too. Yeah, like immediately it looks more legit. The pose is kind of stiff, but it's what it is. And some of the neck too. Yeah, that helps sell the pose a bit. Yeah, I guess that's fine. And then the third one. Again, the axe is now should be very visible. I may just rotate this a bit, this flamethrower. set the pivot of the rotation with Alt and click and move it to his hands, and then I can rotate it like this. I'm gonna just touch it up a bit so it goes more directly towards the axe and the rock here. Yeah, it's better. Yeah, and I can't even see any kind of artifact from that here, so it's all well. Like here the light is very cold or cool, so I'm not gonna pick from that. Like here it's better. Yeah, I think the handle should be longer, maybe. It's like kind of this shape. It's like 1.5 times as long as the X bit. Yeah, and the X should be like making a circle with the blades, which is something that I just noticed now. It's actually kind of neat. Yeah. But this is kind of in perspective, so the circle here should be actually like an ellipse, right? And if this is 1 diameter, yeah, it should be longer. And should it be bigger? No, not really. I think this is okay. I'll indicate the little hole in the bit. Seems like the music is playing on repeat. I'm just gonna play something. And the handle is kinda, it's dark. But it should be warm here because of the sunset. And I'm gonna take this kind of warmer green and use it here But now I'm thinking, actually, this should be straight on because the X is supposed to go directly like this, so it should not be rotating like this. It should be like this. I just, side view. So I think I'm just gonna, just to be safe, I'm just gonna, nope. This sometimes happens and I have no idea what. Blending change, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna borrow this, put it in here. Hello. Yeah. Position it. And just make it less, more transparent, and use it as a guide. Something like this. I'm just gonna copy it. Yeah, like most of the time spent doing any art is kinda just being in the zone for me. Most of it is kinda boring, especially if like my mindset is not really in the right place. Like sometimes the boring parts are fun, sometimes the challenging ones are not boring, but if it's too challenging, then the fun kinda disappears, right? It's just a chore, it's frustrating, but this is just kinda boring. It's just basic stuff. I think it looked more interesting before, but I think I can get back some of that dimensionality by just shading this a bit. Because the blades aren't straight on, they're getting thinner towards the edge. something like this. Then some highlights on the worn part. That's why it's different color, because it's not like worn down and oxidized. It's being used, or sharpened at least. Just like, you know, old bronze statues that are being touched all the time, they get like polished and shiny and pretty. Yeah, and just to make it pop a bit, I'm gonna go in with like color dodge or something like that. Yellow color. Still looking kind of weird, and I think that's because, again, working at such a low resolution, you know, you don't get those nice brush strokes. And big motions. So sometimes the lines are just kind of awkward. But yeah, I think this is better. And even just the nature of it being so sharply rendered now, as opposed to the surroundings, it kind of sticks out. So, but again, I wanted to kind of make the X the focus here. But I still want some kind of dynamism, so maybe I'm gonna kind of blur the handle like this, like to show the movement. Now thinking about it, like the X should be spinning around the center of gravity, right? And I'm not a weapons master, but I think those tend to be, like, especially with this heavy metal blade, they should be somewhere below, like here. So actually it would be spinning around that point here, like this. So something like that. But now I'm thinking, like, is that direction even correct? Because when I throw something like from this pose, right, this would have to be the second revolution, like when the X goes from the hand It started like that, then goes like this. So this would have to be a whole revolution. So I think I'm just gonna put it further a bit. You can actually hide those little selection lines in Photoshop. I think the default shortcut is Control H, and you can move stuff and see it without the distraction. I think that's okay. Like the lighter part and the darker part of the background and vice versa. Yeah. Oh, I still have it selected. And that's the danger of hiding the selection. Especially when you move something, the selection becomes whatever you've moved. So if you have it hidden and then draw, I always get confused, like, because the layer is not locked. So I've spent more time on that, like being confused, than I'd like to admit. But it does have happened a lot of times. I'm just gonna make it a bit bigger. Like, again, it's not perfectly to scale how it should be, but visibility is more important here. Again, maybe I should have, built the whole scene in a different way. To kind of scale things differently, maybe a different view other than this side view, but it's been so long since I actually like storyboarded this part. I think it's still kind of, it works. I don't think anything's confusing here. So yeah, I'm not sure if I should like indicate the travel a bit more. Like, or maybe just like this. Not really feeling it. Yeah, that looks weird. I hope this is like gonna be clear when people see it, like what's actually happening. I don't think there's many other ways to interpret this other than that he's throwing the axe. But there's always a better way to do something. I'm just not gonna be spending much time finding that better way. Yeah. So onto the character. Again, starting with the... Oh, see? I have to keep coming back because here I forgot the straps or wraps. Here and here. This is like the elbow here. Yeah. Now I'm actually not sure about this part because the cloak is kind of enveloping the shoulder, but I'm not sure if the undershirt, if there's like a gap. There's this part, then there's these ones on the sides. So yeah, I don't think any skin should be visible under the arm, like on the torso here. So I'm gonna do something like that. And sometimes Photoshop does this thing where even though you disable the opacity control, it's like you didn't disable it. There's so many like little things that you find, I think with any kind of app or tool. You know, there's bugs, and they've been there for years. And here and there, when it becomes a big problem, you find other people who've come across it, and it's been years since they kind of posted on the forums or something about it, and it's still there because it's just not that big of a deal. But it would be kind of surreal to use something and find like no bugs. Everything working as intended. That would be crazy. Like these panels are actually my favorite ones, I think, so far. I hope that's like a good thing, that is like a trend that I keep getting better. But not sure yet from these ones. If I can keep that up. Sometimes there's definitely like months or weeks or a year where I feel like I'm kind of either stagnating in my art skills or just actually getting worse. And I'm wondering if that's actually true, because sometimes it's just perception. Like you make a piece and you're so surprised because it looks too good, and you're so happy and you want to do another one, and the next one is not that good, so you try again and still not the same how you felt. And that sucks, because you just did something. Maybe it was just a matter of a chance, a random thing that you did in that one piece that kind of propelled it to a higher level. But, with persistence, trying again and again, eventually you'll get to a point where what was once like a lightning in a bottle, you can do consistently, on demand. And certainly like the way one feels makes a lot of difference. Like art is such an emotional discipline for me. Like if I'm not feeling well, I'm not going to create good things. And it goes kind of both ways. If I'm happy with my work, I am generally much happier in other aspects in life. And sometimes that's great, sometimes it sucks bad. And even like a dream job like this, it can be hard. And burnout is real, especially if you kind of keep feeling like you're lazy. But you're not, you're just exhausted. You gotta somehow recharge. And everyone recharges a different way. Something one has to find out. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make the cape here a bit more flowing to support the motion. If you press F by default, you can, get rid of the toolbars and everything and see the canvas, full screen, so to speak, which is very helpful. And now I'm wondering, like, I've used a 4K monitor for a few years now, and at first I thought it's not that big of a deal or a big of a difference, but then I used 2K monitor again, 1080p. It was insane. Like, I suddenly felt like my vision has gone bad. So it's like digital media like this. Sometimes it makes a lot of difference what people are viewing the art on, because not only the resolution but the colors change so much. So sometimes something looks good on your monitor, but then if I just quickly put it on my second monitor, it does look a bit different. I tried to match the colors, but other people are gonna see something very different. It's not like having a print or a painting, out in the real world. That looks the same. Of course, still people see different things. They have different ways of seeing things and sensing things, but there's even more variance with digital art. Yeah, I think I'm gonna modify this cloud a bit to make it softer here, because of course there's color contrast and value contrast. There's also edge contrast, which is actually just a contrast of detail, or the density of detail, that's the word. Yeah, I think I'm kinda going to leave this, and if I spot any kind of, a glaring mistake or something later, I can just, come in and change it, which is actually how I've done the previous strips of this comic. Like, I've usually just kind of gone in and iteratively kind of finished the whole thing. Like, brought every panel to some kind of level and then did it again and again until all the panels are kind of the same, were a consistent quality. And here this is actually the first time where I've kind of went in and just finished it chronologically, which is kind of weird. Didn't think about that till now. Okay, so this is the first part. Yeah, here's the storyboard. Like, what the hell is this? Oh, I see now. I wanted him to throw it with his right hand and kind of, I think, holding on to the rock and just, you know, throwing it over the rock while staying behind cover. Which maybe makes more sense now that I think about it. But I'm not gonna redo this. Like, I think it's fine. It's okay. Like, if I just see it one after the other, I think the motion is clear. Yeah, I'm just gonna lengthen the handle here. It's way too short. Yeah. Okay. So the next one, let's see. I think this really doesn't need to be so high. Like this panel. I wanted to show like the fire is going one way. The X is going this way. And then to kind of get rid of it, the villain, you know, redirects the line of fire towards the X while still keeping... Yeah, okay, so one hand is the original direction and the other is melting the X. And he then catches it with that hand while the other kinda stops spewing fire. So yeah, think about that. Maybe I should like rotate the fire back where it was. Like this is, yeah, I'm not very how do you say it, organized. Yeah, that's the word. Organization or being organized is my nemesis. Like, I don't work like that. So yeah, I think I'm gonna just kind of revert it a bit. Which is more time that is kind of wasted here. It's just a few seconds. There we go. I think that's enough. And here it looks fine. So yeah. Still, I wanna make this panel a bit uh, less, less, you know, a bit shorter. So I'm gonna just put this in like its own layer and move this. And because we're following the motion of the axe here, you know, here, then here, then here, I think it should be even more to the left here. And it's gonna be here, finally here. And then, you know, get stopped here. So there's a bit of pushback. And I don't know if this actually is like how people kind of perceive things, but it does make sense to me. Somewhat. So yeah, here about such like, damn, it's weird talking in English sometimes. I'm used to writing in English. Like, you wouldn't know that I'm not a native speaker, but speaking, that's a different story. And I'm gonna move like the whole thing here up. Wow, I got a viewer for 4 seconds. It's actually cool, like, seeing what YouTube kind of gives you for information. Like, I would be so interested in seeing the analytics of some channels, like just seeing the numbers. It would be cool, you know. I'm curious. Like, statistics is just really interesting. Like, seeing the people that watch or do something in general, you know, visitors. Like, it's interesting that some channels have channels have wildly different ratios of viewer to subscriber numbers, and stuff like that. I'm gonna repeat like the motion here like this, but now I'm wondering if I should maybe rotate like yeah, maybe it should be a bit more again, you know, following the motion here. So but this feels a bit too vertical. But I think that's fine. I'm gonna push the fire like below. Gotta change the shading a bit, but no big deal. Still kind of sketching. Getting lost in my own comic. I'm actually really hungry. Oh, just kind of realized that. Looking at those knots, like, I don't think I really understand how knots work. I'm just gonna scribble something. That's the advantage of like doing a scribbly style. You don't have to, you know, figure out some details. You just leave it up to the imagination. It's perfectly valid. And sometimes it works better, you know, same with large areas of shadow and stuff. Like, you don't put the same amount of detail in shade as you do in light, or, you know, depends on the specifics, but you can have like light areas that are like kind of overblown, like high exposure, and again you don't really see detail in that. Sometimes I kind of have to remind myself of certain fundamentals, you know. Not everything kind of becomes a second nature to me. Yeah, looking at the texture here, it's kind of rough, kind of corroded. Yeah, it should speak of kind of the state of this kingdom. It's like a city-state, so I don't know if the title king is actually the best option. But the city is called Bragaka, and it basically means city of bronze. And it's supposed to be ancient, and the people that live there at the time of this story don't actually know who built it. They just live in the ruins of it, basically. Like, they don't see it as ruins, but the city definitely looked different when it was new. It was all shiny, just like the edges of this axe. And different people lived there then. very different. But the X should kind of represent that. Like there's something old about it, but also there's a side to it that's kind of made better because of the contrast of like taking what's old and falling apart and polishing it and stuff. I'm like really fascinated with ancient civilizations, and I want to explore that kind of relationship in my stories. We live in ruins of what people before us built. Sometimes we take that legacy and we maintain it. Sometimes we destroy it, and sometimes we kind of change it, and maybe the change is gradual, and no one that lives through it does kind of, no one realizes that it's happening, but it does happen. These areas should be like flat. I don't know why I'm trying to make it round. But this should go from like flat to round. Yeah, there's a lot of empty space, so I'm gonna push it, even further up. Yeah. Like this. And I'm gonna take the color of the surroundings, kind of blend it, to make it out of focus here. Not only is it easier, less time consuming, but it, doesn't take the focus from what's happening in the foreground. And I'm just gonna sketch this part out, and I'm gonna go order some food or something. I think it should be kind of constant, the width, because the width of the fire, because it's not, no, it's kind of like the middle part. It's not like in this panel, you know, starting from a point basically and then spreading out. And the smoke, maybe I should make the smoke more prominent here, and maybe even or should this be like a panel where the axe and the fire first kind of meet, like in the fireball here? I'm really not sure here. Maybe that kinda... Maybe it's better like this. It implies that the fire is traveling fast as well as the axe. Because we see them like this, and then they've already crossed each other. So that means the motion is fast. Again, that's something, you know, that's my way of perceiving it. Makes sense to me. Again, other people might view it differently, but I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to create something that I'd like to read or see. So I'm kind of making this for me, mostly. And there should definitely be like a reflection of, you know, a rim light coming from the fire. On this side, here the X is kind of getting thicker towards the center. Same here. Yeah. Looks nice. And a bit redder on the upper part here. Not only because it's, you know, farther, but the handle is, you know, darker, and it's also less reflective. Yeah, the sunset light should be kind of overwhelmed by the light of the fire, especially since the smoke should be more spread out, so it's kind of blocking the light from the sunset. Yeah, this comic is all about infernal motives. Yeah, okay, so that's, you know, I don't know how to quantify if I finished a panel or two today, or not even one. You know, I finished these three. I think I can say that. And this one is, you know, on its way. I think it looks cool so far. And I thank you for listening or watching. And take care. Bye.